All right, thank you very much for tuning in. So, Pro Life Nova Scotia. My name is John Michael. So basically, what's happening is that there's a crime, a very, very serious crime. The crime is causing, inducing, if you will, a miscarriage or a termination of pregnancy without the knowledge or consent of the woman, right? Without the knowledge or consent of the woman. Well, you say, oh, abortion is legal in Canada and all this stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, it is. I don't know what legal looks like in a post-Morgenthaler world, but anyway, yeah, you're right. The abortionist will not be indicted where he belongs into the federal penitentiary. It's legal. I'm not sure, but decriminalized. It looks like it's decriminalized. So there's a very, very big difference between legal and decriminalized. But essentially, you're right in raising that argument. Abortion is legal or decriminalized or whatever. Yeah. So really, what's going on is that the abortionist. I'm not going to call him a doctor. He's not a doctor. It does a lot of harm, grave bodily harm, serious bodily harm to the woman, which an abortion is serious bodily harm to the woman, and a death of a baby. Right? It's quite perverse to call it a medical procedure or whatever. But anyway, it's not the point. The point is we live in a world where there's still some sort of sensibility here. Now, inducing a miscarriage without the knowledge or consent of the woman is unlawful in Canada today. Right? It is still unlawful in Canada today. So how do you know that? Because that's the law. I mean that's. But the whole point about me trying to get this investigated is that these police will just not investigate properly. They will. All right, let's do a hurdle. Right, hurdle number one. So I'm like, yeah, okay, my child died and all this stuff, which was the whole point of this whole channel is dedicated to not to Dr. Michelle Dow. No, I'm not going to dedicate my whole channel to her. I'm going to dedicate my whole channel to my child who died. Anyway, my child died, and my child was, the pregnancy was viable. It was a healthy baby boy, baby girl, baby boy. I do believe there were multiple pregnancies that were lost in this way, but anyway, we'll focus on this one because the one is one. So what happened here is that Dr. Michelle Dow administered a noxious substance without um, telling the woman that it was abortifacient in nature, which means that it would not prevent pregnancy, but it would kill the healthy embryo at the implantation stage. The baby, the healthy baby, right? And you're not going to be able to dehumanize this baby by calling him or her, an embryo. That's just a stage of development. Blastocyst, morula. These are all terms for the developing human, right? So there's no dehumanization going on. I'm just being sticking to the facts, right? So then I'm all like, yeah, my baby had the 50% DNA from me. I'm the father, right? I should be able to complain. And he's all like, oh yeah, where's this DNA test? He's like, I already told him. I said, listen, my buddy, there is DNA, right? The DNA is it's generated, like if you will, it's called the zygotic genome activation. The genetic code is initiated 50% from the mother, 50% from the father. It's a new, completely new, distinct organism, separate from any human that has ever been existed in the past or will ever exist. So that's just basic embryology. And then he asked me for like, I don't know if he's doing that because he just wants to be annoying or if he just is just ignorant. Like, so I hope to believe that he's just ignorant. But he's like, yeah, where's the DNA test? And I'm like, instead of saying like, are you are you retarded or just drunk? I'm like, hey, listen, there's no there's no convenient way to extract a DNA sample from the developing human at the embryonic stage, and I'll explain it like really, really in depth, and to answer his question, and that answer is sufficient. Right? That answer that I've answered. So let me recap this argument. Okay, so he's all like, He's all like, uh, the argument is so dumb, right? He's all like, yeah, do you have a DNA test for this for this baby, like a DNA report, like a DNA test, a DNA report that said, I'm like, no, you don't have a DNA test on a like my baby right now is like, how old is my baby, like 15 weeks now. How could I even go there and extract a DNA sample from my 15 week, like this huge baby, right? How could I even do that? You know, go into the woman's belly and prick off a piece of hair and the nail. I don't know how you'd even do that, right? I'm sure there's ways, some sort of biopsy sample could be taken from the developing human at that stage, but I'm not gonna be. Why would we do that, right? He obviously didn't think past that question. So anyway, he's all like, "Yeah, do you got a DNA report?" And I'm like, "Oh, instead of saying, that is a stupid question," instead of saying that, which it is, I was just, answering it to the best of my ability without getting flabbergasted. How can you answer that with a straight face? Like, laughing like this guy's, is he nuts or just okay? All right, here's not the best part. The best part is I'm here laying all the facts about the case law and the fact that the my kids my Canadian criminal law and the past judge's ruling and everything like that. And I'm like, listen, serious bodily harm does, to I should say, to suggest that inducing a miscarriage of a woman is not serious bodily harm is just not true. So it's not a scientific, reality. And then you got the analysis that Canadian criminal law isn't based on scientific reality. It's based on. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Canadian criminal law is not based on scientific reality. It's not based on observable facts. Like, because if we were to acknowledge the fact that inducing a miscarriage without the knowledge or consent of a woman, or inducing the miscarriage with the knowledge and consent of a woman, constitutes serious bodily harm to a woman, then you'd have to infer that, well, since it is serious bodily harm to the woman, then what does that mean for early or late term medical surgical abortion? It's really serious bodily harm to a woman, right? Not to mention the death of the, and I know there's no legal personhood and all this stuff, but as of today, as of 2025, it is illegal, unlawful, and she can get charged with inducing a miscarriage in a pregnancy. And she's certainly guilty. I mean, this is a capital murder case. Right? This is a capital murder case. She's a psycho serial killer. Right? That's not the point. The point is how nutty will the Canadian law system prove itself to be. And now we see that the case has been closed. File closed. Do not send me any more emails. I don't want any more emails. He's like, don't send me any more emails. I'm like, all right. I acknowledge the fact that the file is closed. I would not send you any additional emails. And I do close by saying that I believe that you have erred as terminating a pregnancy without the knowledge or consent of the woman constitutes a grave felony. So I did write that. That's the end of the deal. But everything in between, I didn't include this on my YouTube channel, but it will be included, and there's lots and lots of material. Basically, all right. So there's that thing that I was saying about the DNA test, and then oh yeah, man, this is the nuttiest thing. Man, I should make a whole new video about this. I'll make a whole new video about this because it deserves its own video. How nutty this argument is, right? This argument. Okay, so basically, he did an investigation. He actually contacted the mother of the victim, right? The mother of the victim, which was my child. My child is the victim, the primary victim. The woman, which is the secondary victim. So he contacted the secondary victim, which was the pregnant mother who lost the viable pregnancy due to the administration of the noxious substances, right? So he contacted my ex, and my ex is all like, I never was pregnant. So then I'm like, well, there you go. That's evidence of a deception. There's the evidence of deception. But this guy, being so bright, he's all like, well, there's evidence that there's no pregnancy. when I explicitly told him, I mean, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You will hear her confess, right? That there is she has two children, two children. My wonderful wonderful son, and my other wonderful wonderful son. My really really smart, really amazing talented. They're both talented and smart. They're really great boys. But what pains me the most is that there's a third, son that has been lost there, and it's very, very, it's dreadful. It's dreadful to have to go through this legal mumbo jumbo of such an annoying and so it's just retarded. It's just retarded. Like listen to his argument. Okay, I explicitly laid out all the facts, right? She's deceived. Dr. Michel Dow did not explicitly state the mechanism of action of the prescription drug. She administered a noxious substance causing the death of the viable pregnancy. And if you do investigate, you will see that she will confess that she does not, to this day, she's deceived, right? And then what does he do? He gets that evidence, right? He literally gets her to admit that, "Oh, I never was pregnant. I never was pregnant." But she was. So she's deceived, and there's the evidence of the deceit. But here's the nutty part: is that, somehow we have to, you know, that needs to be the education that there was a deceit there, and or somehow she has to be undeceived and come to the realization of the truth. The truth has to be unveiled to her, and then she's able to make a complaint, a criminal complaint. She has to make it herself because I'm a dad and I'm being discriminated against because I'm a man. Right, so that's nutty. I didn't explain it right. I'm going to explain it in another video. We'll be back into the next one. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you.